Thursday session with the Bhakti Yoga Way. I know you're probably used to seeing Malvika here, but I am pleased to be hosting this with Sanatana Dharma Prabhu. This week, we are going to be talking about the power of speech. This one was actually a pretty important topic for me as well, so I'm very excited to be having this conversation with Sanatana Dharma Prabhu. To kickstart off this discussion, my first question or basis of discussion kind of relates to speech itself. So in Bhakti, speech is said to be more so sacred. And so I just wanted to ask, how does the way that we use words affect our growth in our personal or even spiritual life?
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. You spoke about how does words and how do words affect our personal self, our spiritual life, or anything for that matter. So there's a very interesting research that was done by a very famous Japanese doctor. His name was Dr. Emoto. I'm not getting his full name. So this personality, what he did was he did a research on the effect of sound on water. Yes, and usually the sound, why sound do carry vibration, but sound also refers to the words that we choose. And he did a very wonderful research, and he studied the crystals of water molecules under the microscope in order to analyze them. And his research showed that when the water was exposed to like something of very high noise levels, and that time the water particles, the molecules, they actually were completely having a very bad structure. It was horrible. It was not something that you can look on. On the other hand, when it was very soothing music, well, that was the water particles. They were aligned in such a way which was having a symmetry. Like it was very beautiful. And then he went on to also expose the water to a very, very beautiful speech. There's a nice poetry, there are good words being hummed, and the water under abuse. And there was again a great difference that was observed. Yes. He even, in fact, as such, expose the water particles to the photographs of certain personalities, because even photographs do have certain vibrations that they carry. Even person's photo does have a vibration. In fact, posthumous ceremony, that is after the death of a person, in the Vedic times, there used to be a photograph painted of a person, because that also carries certain vibrations. The photos, the videos, everything carries vibrations. So we need to be really careful, right? And surprisingly, the personalities who were quite heroic, philanthropic, and such kind of personalities who contributed very well to the society, the water crystals, they arranged very beautifully. On the other hand, the personalities who committed genocide, involved with mass killings, destructions, etc., the water particles, oh, they were really horrible. And then finally, the water particles were exposed to the chant and the chanting of the Maha Mantra that we usually recommend our students to do. The Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, namely Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And then the effects were profound. I'll just check, just give me a moment, Nandini. What I'm going to do is I'll just see if I have the document. If you give me a moment. Yeah, I don't know if it's, I'll just kind of show it and let's see if you're all able to see it. Mhm. It's in a moment. Yeah. This is something that I was trying to tell all of you. Can you all see? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, we can see it.
Yeah, Himoto. Masuru Himoto. It's a very old PowerPoint. Somewhere close to 2008 this was made. Yeah, so this is the water, molecule of water, river, source of a river. This is the original one. If you just go to the river, polluted river looks like this. Ah, yucks. Sound of prayers, you see what alignment, how, what a change happens. Before the prayer, it was like this. Thank you very much, gratitude. See, words, they're all words, ultimately sound. What a change. Now, it was even exposed to the music of Bach. Now, Bach is one of the very famous Western classical composers. In fact, he can be called the father of Western classical music. He has composed very beautiful sonatas. And here, metal music, heavy metal music. What happened to the sound? Death-threatening words, speech again. This is also speech. What happened? Just look. Sounds of Adolf Hitler. Of course, he committed genocide. Just look at the water molecules, how they have changed. And love and appreciation, or Beethoven's music. Yeah, we see this. Crystals of water with essence of chamomile. It completely changes. So which molecule do we prefer? Yes, that of good sentiments or the polluted one? And this is actually a corrupted file. That's why I was like a little bit hesitant to show you, because the climax was he experimenting with the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and that's the most beautiful crystal that was found. And that is something that's missing. Of course, I had shown it to many of my students about, it's almost like, 15 years ago. But now I don't, it's a corrupted file. Somehow I tried to extract whatever was essential. But that gives an idea. What do you have to say about this? I would like to hear some reflections. And then I'll tell you why water. Anybody would like to say something? This is from a scientific experiment.
I think it's interesting that it comes based off of science. I think that I like that because a lot of people feel like they need science to back up a lot of things when it comes to self realization or the power, even just of words. So it's nice to know that there is scientific proof. I feel like people who sometimes don't always believe or agree in spiritual practice, this kind of proves otherwise to show that even something as maybe people see as simple as something just expressing words can actually have a much larger impact. And just like how like water has ripples, words can also have the same effect on people depending on what you're saying and who you're communicating to. And I think that that's a very powerful thing.
Yeah. And why water? This is because 70% of our body is made of water. So we can just see, we can just know that what kind of an aura we would carry with all that negativity in our speech, contrary to what kind of a personality makeup we would have when we are having all the positivity and the nice words, right? So I just wanted to start off on this note. Yes.
Yeah, that's really good. In relation to actually sound vibrations and spiritual practice, how does something like maybe mantra meditation influence how we would be communicating, whether that be in our daily life or even just how we even communicate to ourselves? Like, how would mantra meditation then impact that communication? And if we were to continue to practice that in our daily life versus not practicing it, what kind of changes would we see internally as well as externally?
Yeah. So many of this, I just coming back to this experiment because I'm so very obsessed with this. Yeah. He did not kind of expose to these sounds for a very prolonged time. It was immediate. Effect observed in the water crystals was something that was quite immediate for a less amount of time. It wasn't a very prolonged exposure. So uh, at a very short interval of time, we can see some amount of result. But when we consistently keep repeating the prayer and the chant of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, there is a change that happens at the internal level, right? Not just the external, the internal level. And the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, I would like to show you another a slide, if I may. You spoke about the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, I just show you. There's another presentation that I have. Let me just see. I'll go to the slide and probably show you. I'm just letting the viewers know that this is not a scripted conversation. It's all impromptu. Because many guys will be telling me, Prabhuji, you should have done your homework, kept everything ready. No. I'm just kind of, whatever is coming to my mind, I'm just showing you guys. Because this is something really you will appreciate. Yeah. I just wanted to show you this particular slide. Yeah, I got it. By Lord's mercy. Okay. So this is again an experiment. And this is a very true thing that was done. Usually we have something called the brain wave frequency. And when we sometimes see in the movies, there's a patient in the hospital and there is an electrocardiogram connected to the heart pulse. Tick, tick, tick. You've seen that? That happens. Similarly, there is something associated with the brain as well. It's called the brain wave frequency, right? And this is the measure of brain wave frequency. And if you see the calculation in hertz, when we are sleeping, the brain wave frequency is between 0 to 3 hertz. And then you just are woken up. Somebody just, shakes you up. And then you're kind of drowsy just after waking up. And that is from 3 to 8 hertz. This is where we are supposed to be, right? About 13 hertz, you're active, which means you're now started moving and you're going around. And when you're worried, you have a stress, you have anxiety, it goes above 18 hertz. My dear friends, I just wanted to bring it to your notice that very unfortunately today, even when a person goes to sleep, yes, a person goes to sleep, the brainwave frequency is more than 20 hertz. Yeah. That's because a person's going to bed not with a calm, cool, collected state of mind, but is going to rest with a lot of anxieties. And of course, before going to rest, what's the thing that's very common among this generation? How do they go to sleep? They go to sleep with the phone, they wake up with the phone. Yes or no? Or I should say yes or yes. That's how we go to sleep. We are just watching, scrolling. And what are we doing when we are exposing ourselves to so much of social media content? Is we are bombarding and we are increasing the brainwave frequency. And that's when even if externally a person may be snoring, but internally your system is disturbed. That's why many of the intelligent people do tell you that you just, when you go to bed, just put aside everything. Don't scroll social media. In fact, you shut off everything 1 hour before you go to bed. You can pick up a book instead. In fact, that is something when reading is an amazing habit that puts you in a state of trance, which is it lowers your brainwave frequency exactly to that state which you're supposed to be productive, at the same time you're supposed to be relaxed. It's called relaxed alertness, or the alpha state. Yes, alpha state. And mantra meditation, when done properly, when we do the chanting very attentively, the Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, when we are chanting with the meditative awareness that we are linking with the Supreme, we are linking with the Divine, we are in connection with the Divinity, and we are having a conversation with God. This kind of awareness, we chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, then we will be situated in this alpha state, right? And this is the state which every sincere meditator is put into, which is called the relaxed alert zone. And this particular state is a peak performance state, right? Stress kills performance. But on the other hand, this kind of relaxed alert state is something that very wonderfully helps us to perform our best at anything we do. Yes, everywhere we'll be aware. In fact, the meditating chanting, a meditation that we do in the morning, right? It's advised to do your chanting right in the morning. Why? Because that helps you to carry that awareness, to carry forward that state throughout the entire day. That's the magic. Yes. And when you hit the delta, that's the sleep. Delta state is the sleepy stage, right? When you hit that, that is the time when and you wake up right and you get into the tension zone. Then you miss a lot of productivity that you're supposed to be doing. So that's what people do today. Yes, they are oscillating between delta and complete wakefulness. That's called beta. There is no alpha because there is no training, there is no emphasis on meditation, your breath work, your prayer. These are all states which are the peak performance stage, which unfortunately is not taught, not emphasized enough. Yeah.
Okay. So shifting gears into an area of a little bit more where people are going into an environment of where they go to work and they're trying to practice either finding a state of being in a mindful, starting their day off right, having good self-talk, but then they go into an environment or a work environment where there's a lot of gossip, there's a lot of drama. What are some practical steps that people could potentially take to not carry the negative work environment internally towards their own self-talk or have the power of other people's words impact themselves?
Great. At this point of time, I would like to bring out a mantra from Bhagavad Gita, a verse which will really help all of us. The Sanskrit goes like this. I hope all of you can see my screen. This comes in the 17th chapter. Yes, 17th chapter, verse number 15. In this particular chapter, Bhagavan or the Almighty Lord, he speaks about various kinds of forms of worship. And one of the forms of worship is austerity. And he categorizes austerity very scientifically into three parts. There is an austerity of body, austerity of speech, austerity of mind. And this is something that comes chronologically, meaning that unless one performs the austerity of body, it will be difficult for a person to perform the austerity of speech. And unless a person performs the austerity of speech, it will be very difficult for a person to perform the austerity of the mind. Yeah, we cannot control our mind without controlling the speech. Then one may want to know, if we are talking about speech, we really want to know at least something about the austerity of body. So I'm not going to discuss in depth or detail because that's not the subject matter of our discussion. But nevertheless, I just want to bring it to the notice of the viewers about what exactly is the austerity of body. You can just read the translation in this case. Nandini, can you do that for me?
Yes, of course. Austerity of the body consists in worship of the Supreme Lord. The Brahmanas, the spiritual master and superiors like the father and mother, and in cleanliness, simplicity, celibacy, and nonviolence.
Wow, this is profound. What what is austerity of the body? Being aware that this body is a temple of Lord. Yes, this is a place of worship. Yes, and we have to be respectfully bowing down to the Almighty, bowing down to our superiors. Brahmanas in this context refer to the teachers, the professors, who preferably who are those professors of spirituality, spiritual preceptors. They are Brahmanas, right? Bowing down to them, accepting the blessings, keeping our body clean with the awareness that this is the temple of God. With that awareness, we take bath and we keep our body clean, right? Celibacy, not unnecessarily wasting the sexual energy. A lot of energy and vitality is wasted through unnecessary sexuality, right? Sexual energy should be utilized to create meaningful population. That's spirituality. There is no problem with that. But wasting it, yes, that's not the austerity of body, right? And simplicity in one's clothing and dressing, the way we dress, the way the demeanor we carry, right? That's all simplicity and non-violence, not unnecessarily using the bodily energy for committing violence to injure others, etc. So that's something we're not going to discuss in depth because the subject matter is the speech. But of course, first austerity of body, then austerity of speech. But nevertheless, let's find out what's austerity of speech. Anudvegakaram vakyam satyam priyahitam chayat swadhyayabhyasanam chaiva vanmayam tapa uchyate. You can read this for me.
Sorry. Austerity of speech consists in speaking words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, and not agitating to others, and also in regularly reciting Vedic literature.
Which means the prayerful hymns. All right. So, okay. Now here, when we are talking about austerity of speech, when we speak, okay, when we speak, we also listen, right? We are also processing the same thing that we are speaking. You speak, you listen. So, just to extrapolate it further, it's equally important that we set filters here. We don't take in garbage, trash, nonsense through this. We've been given and gifted with 2 ears and 1 mouth. Yes, because we ought to listen more than we talk. So there has to be proper filters on this particular ears because we don't take in anything and everything that's going around. Because you spoke about the office setting, an environment. You have done your meditation, you've done your prayer, right? And then you go to an environment that might be spiritually contaminating, right? And that's where we need to apply these particular words. At least over here, yes, we apply the filter. We speak things that are truthful. Yes, we are not sure of something, we don't talk about it. Yes. Second, pleasing. Yes, our speech should be pleasing in such a way. Wow. Sometimes we relish a lot of delicacies, right? And we wish we have our favorite foods at a regular frequency. Of course, you have your favorite foods every day. It no longer remains your favorite food. That's how it is. But then we like to have it at a regular interval. Okay, we have that. For example, somebody may be really relishing. I really love this particular dish. You almost definitely try it out. It's called firni. I make it as well. So probably when I'm there, I'll make it for you. It's called firni. It's a very beautiful delicacy, and I love to have it, but not at least monthly once. We like to have that. It's a sweet preparation, firni. So when we are having that firni, oh, we like to take a sip and just relish it. That's how our speech should be. It should be like that sweet firni. People would want to, and this is the good speech or a sweet speech, pleasing words is a delicacy that the ears would want every time. That is nothing, we never get tired of it. And that's something we want regularly. We like to preferably have it always, right? And that's the speech, pleasing speech, in a way that's pleasing. And also at the same time, we don't just become a people pleaser. We should also speak something that's going to benefit everyone, right? Not just goody goody things, something that's going to elevate our or enrich our lives, elevate us. So that's beneficial. And most importantly, we don't agitate anyone with our speech, right? Because ultimately, words scientifically are a collection of compression and rare fractions. That's what physics talks about. Even if you were going to any sound engineering room where we go through the input of the sound, it's nothing but compressions and rare fractions. Yes, you have seen that pulse sound when you're recording your own audio. You can see that the sound is hitting the high decibel, the low, high, low, a certain frequency it carries. But still, the sound, the words that we choose, that gives power into the speech. They can either make or break bones. Both. They have that power. Right? So we shouldn't agitate others. And final one, the last instruction that the Almighty gives of reciting the Vedic literature. Wow, this is something that's going to have really a profound effect on our speech. Somebody who has a very loose tongue, who just speaks trash, garbage, it's observed that such a person will not have that gravity to create the impact in speech. On the other hand, that person who regularly recites the mantras, recite the hymns of the Shastras, automatically that person's speech becomes so very impacting. It just hits. It causes that impact, and the person is shaken up completely. Yeah, it happens. It happens. A person who regularly recites, regularly prays, regularly sings, especially the glories of the Almighty Lord. That's bound to happen. And that's the real power of speech. Yes.
That's really nice. I like that a lot. In relation to the power of speech and the impact that it has, how do you think that the company that we keep influences the negative or the positive powers of speech? Again, whether that's internally or even how we choose to interact with other people as well.
Yeah, I would like to answer it in two ways. Um, Number one, we all do not have anything. There's nothing called an original personality. We don't have it. We are a product of five people that we associate every day closely. This is fact. And that's how important it is to choose the association. And what way do we get associated? It's the speech, right? It's the sound vibration that is impacting us. That's the association. Of course, every person carries an aura, the vibes. Now, sometimes you say, I don't get good vibes from this person. Or some, oh wow, what a serene person. I really have very good vibes. I get good vibes from this person. Yeah, we feel that, right? We feel it. That's there. But how is that the person is transferring those vibes? Of course, you go near a person, you come in contact with the person, you shake hands. Yes, there is some transfer of vibes, but that's not as much as when the person talks. Right? Opening mouth and talking is actually transferring everything. The convictions, the faith, the ideology, the thought process, everything is being transferred. So it's really very important who we are talking to or who we are listening to. Right. So that's one aspect that I wanted to share. Another thing that you were talking about is such kind of speech. How does it affect you? Yes, it affects you a lot. And the effect may not be something that's observable immediately. Right? If a person is discouraged, that person is broken, shattered many times. I've heard this in a movie. I don't have any scientific source for it, but this was a part of a dialogue in a movie. But the artist was making a very profound point. He was saying he spoke about a tribe. That tribe, if they want to break down a tree, he said, yeah, it's a very strong tree, strong rooted tree. They don't put the effort to sharpen their axe and go and cut down the tree. They don't do that. All they do is just go near the tree and speak all varieties of abuses. Yeah, they all do that and they just go and abuse the tree. And within a matter of time, the tree collapses. It dries up and collapses. This is what happens. And what happens to the tree is something that can happen to all of us. Yeah. So a person who is thoroughly bombarded with toxicity. Yes. That toxicity is something that can kill the person from within. Yeah. Happens.
In relation to that kind of a conversation and speaking and how it impacts other people, how do we know that when we're engaging in conversation with someone, that our speech is impacting or serving the other person, or whether it's just serving our ego?
Because I think you're talking about what Lord Krishna is saying, the beneficial aspect. Is
Mm-hmm.
it benefiting us? Because he says that Satyam Priyam Hitam. Hitam means to benefit. Well, the best judge in all this scenario is we ourselves. We need to ask this question, that are we blowing our own trumpet and pumping our egos, or are we actually here to serve with compassion? Right? Because a spiritual personality is the one who has this value of compassion, and even the speech is nothing but a tool to express that compassion. That's what a spiritual personality does. And the Bhakti Yoga way, the series that we have been having this far, is to speak with compassion and not speaking to control. Yeah. Usually, authoritative kind of leaders or personalities, they want to control every person. They say, you got to do it because I say so. I'm your boss. I'm the person here whose my way is highway. That's their ideology, and that's how they want to control. And usually they are thoroughly repelled. Genuine people do get repelled from such people. On the other hand, a servant leader is one who cares for people, and through that care, through that compassion, automatically the people, they want to be associated with such a leader, such a person, and they want to be controlled by such a person. Yeah, they get controlled. On the other hand, people who want to control, dominate, people just slip out of their hands, right? So our speech, when chosen with care and compassion, it really melts hearts. And the person who we're talking to, dealing with, would want to get controlled by such a person voluntarily, rather than a person trying to exert control and people just want to walk away. They're just there because they're compelled to be there. This life is so compelling, and yeah, I have to be here, unfortunately. Otherwise, no, I have no interest. I have the least. And do you expect such people to perform at their peak? It's never going to happen. Yes, it's never going to happen. People are just waiting for another opportunity to just escape and leave. Right. Yeah. So that's why beneficial. When can a person's speech be beneficial? When we genuinely care. And how do we become caring? This caring can come when we have the genuine compassion. How do we awaken that compassion? That's what the Bhakti Yoga way is all about. The Bhakti, meaning the relationship that we strike with the Almighty. As soon as we come in contact, whatever amount of contact we have made with the Almighty Lord, with divinity, automatically what expression starts when we deal generally is the compassion. Yeah, the compassion element is something that comes very naturally in the way we walk and the way we talk. Yeah.
Perfect. I really enjoyed your answers. If I would actually like to take the time to open it up to the audience and see if anybody in the audience had any further questions, reflections, anything that they would like to share on the discussion so far. Maybe we could call on a couple people if nobody ends up volunteering.
Shameshwari, you there?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept
Hare
my humble
Krishna.
obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I really enjoyed how you connected both scientific points of views and also spiritual point of views and kind of merged them together. I think that was really beautiful. And also, I really liked how when you brought up the tree example and you said, to break down the tree, all you really got to do is abuse it and it breaks down. And I think that's a very nice, beautiful point of view, because when you look at it, it's not even just a person breaks down because their mind isn't the strongest anymore. It's also it can actually break down physically as well. You can get a whole bunch of chronic illnesses or the root of, trauma. And I think it's very beautiful how you put that together, and I really appreciated all your points of views. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, as you rightly said, any kind of physical ailment initially originates in the mind, right?
Yeah.
It's the mental state, ill state that's carried forward for this physical ailments, any kind of thing that you had. Yeah, that's also scientifically proven. So it's very fact. So dis-ease. So when you're not eased in your mind, that's when the body reacts to it. And a person who's in always a happy state, a blissful state, such a person will be able to carry himself very wonderfully, physically as well. It's okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for making that point. Mohini Murthy Prabhu, you would like to say something?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you so much again for one of your wonderful sessions. I just wanted to ask you, so, sometimes other people's actions come across in such a way that, you know, they're very provoking situations and you might lose the austerity of speech. So how do you control yourself in such provoking situations?
Yes, yes. Happens. In this world, it's very vital that we learn to use certain tools. Yeah. I just put it this way. We have to be expert, even spiritualists have to be expert to use anger as a tool and keep it back. Right? We use it and we keep it back. But what happens when a person is not very spiritual is that person gets ended up using, the person is used by anger and not that the person is using anger, because anger is necessary for getting certain things done in the right way. So if somebody has not conducted oneself very well, then it's very important that we might have to exercise anger for that particular time in order to correct the ways, and then we return to our state. Yes? So using anger at the right time is not wrong, but there's a way to use it, and there is a time frame where we have to use it. When to use it, how to use it, is it necessary to use it? All these things is the Bhakti Yoga way. We see the example of Arjuna. He had to fight a war against his own relatives, his own friends. Why? Because there was a purpose, there was a higher purpose to establish Dharma, the right principles. So he exercised his anger, employed the anger in Lord's service. And then so he would use anger as a tool. And many of the warriors in the Vedic times, they did that. In the daytime, when the sun rises, the fight would begin. And the sun sets, the fight would conclude. That's called Dharma Yuddha. Yuddha means war, and Dharma means the war fought on principles. And after the sunset, every warrior, irrespective of which side they were fighting, they would sit down and dine together. They would appreciate each other's moves. Yes, they would really be friends after that. They'd be talking to each other like the best buddies. They would sit down and talk and have a very healthy chat. How is this possible? This was something which was very, very mind-boggling for me initially. You are sworn enemies and you sit down and dine together? Whoa, That's too much, but that requires a great deal of control. And even the sports personalities, during the sport they are rivals. Yeah, somebody may be arch rivals on the field, but off the field they might be best buddies. Right? Happens many times. Your arch rivals will be the best friends of your life off the field. So this requires a great deal of we can call it, yeah, one has to be having those values, spiritual values. We call it sportsman spirit. Yes, similarly here in this case we have the bhakti spirit, where we might apparently use some things which are not healthy for our bhakti state. Yes, because anger makes you lose the bhakti vibes. And anger is something that's totally unexpected from a person who is spiritual. Oh, you too get angry? Yeah, I too get angry. But anger is used as a tool to serve a particular purpose, and once the purpose is solved, yes, it's over. We keep it back in the toolbox, right? Yeah. So use it to your discretion.
Very nicely explained, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank
The
you.
examples also that you used, like very wish I could follow them.
No,
That's
you
all
wish
I
even
can
I could
say.
follow that. When I'm also a practitioner, I know certain principles which I'm trying to share, and the purpose of me sharing is so that even I follow.
Yeah, no, but really very good examples. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for appreciating. Anything else, Nandini?
No, if anybody else has any comments, it would be great. I know for me personally, I really like this specific topic just because I work in an environment where we're all females and sometimes gossip happens or discussions happen. And I've started to notice that I don't always want to indulge in the negative conversation. And I know how powerful speech and words can be. And so I just want to be able to use practical tips on, even if people in the outside world choose to speak in a particular way, I want to be able to have more control over my tongue.
Yeah.
And like you said, we have two ears and one mouth. So to listen to these things is one thing, but then to partake in the activity itself is a completely different thing. And then just to not take it home with me and still keep my inner thoughts pure and the way that I choose to interact with other people and what I say about other people, it all makes a big difference.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a point here. In the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita, verse number 21, Lord Krishna is giving a responsibility to his followers or the spiritualists. He says, Yadyad acharati sreshthas tatta devetaro jana sayat pramanam kurute lokas tad anuvartate. So there is an expectation that is set in the acharan. Acharan means the conduct, the way we conduct ourselves, especially in gatherings. And that expectation is we set the standards.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So when we set the ideal standard with our own conduct and example, then many would be inspired, at least if not many, few would be inspired to follow, try to follow in the footsteps of such a spiritualist. And that's also a very wonderful preaching that
Mm-hmm.
happens, right?
Yeah.
When somebody idolizes or looks up to a devotee, that's something which is the expectation that we have. So we all have a great responsibilities on our
Yeah.
shoulders. We need to keep up the standard of a spiritualist and
Yeah.
don't let it fall. It's not that we are only spiritualists in our spiritual circles, and once we exit the circle, then we do all nonsense. That's not integrity. We need to live with integrity. Very important.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
Um,
perfect.
okay, I'm very, very grateful to you, Nandini. You very beautifully conducted this. I'm very
Thank
grateful to
you.
Shameshwari, Mohini Murthy Prabhu, Malvika, she was here.
Yes.
I saw Anand that I think for a flash he was there. I saw Sam and Hina, Gita, Mataji. Thank you so much for coming. Hare
Okay.
Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu, for this amazing time. We will be still here next Thursday as well. So we hope that everybody can join us next Thursday as well.
Yes, next Thursday I'll be joining you guys from there.
Yes.
I'm coming to the other side.
Perfect.
Right. Okay, all right. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare
Hare
Krishna, everyone.
Krishna.
Thank
Hare Krishna.
you.